Rab- Rabbi Nissan Ahoobim, nice to have you here. Thank you very much for joining. Of all of the people that I've had the pleasure of working with, I don't think I've cried more with joy as I got to celebrate the tremendous, just the tremendous like growth and experience you've had. And again, it's like a lot of times people like make fun of me. And they're like, all you care about is money, and it's like no. And I am thrilled that you've been able to build a beautiful business for yourself and your family, but for you, like who you have become through this process is so unbelievably inspiring for me. So I guess if I haven't told you that before, I'm going to do that now and very publicly.
Hi, Jacob. Thank you. I appreciate that.
My
I appreciate
pleasure.
it. Thank you.
So when you came to, I remember we had this whole conversation. I don't remember exactly how we met, but when you were thinking, again, your background is you're a rabbi, you've worked for a couple different organizations. When you were thinking about working, potentially building your business as a coach, and I know at that time you were sort of like pursuing other businesses, where were you? Like, what was your emotional state? What were some of those things? If you can go back to those dark days, like what was that like for you?
Right. So I prefer, yeah, it's hard to go back to those dark days, but it's important to, for me to be thankful in terms of what that was. The biggest problem that I had was that I didn't know how to do what I enjoyed and then make money from it. So I went and did everything but what I liked. And it makes sense. I was in fear mode and I was trying to, provide. But what clicked was realizing that you can do what you love and make money doing it. It just happened to be that I did it in a different way than other people. And I had to stop comparing what everyone else is doing the way that other people were making money. And so for me, this was a way for me to be able to like kind of find that voice inside of me that actually always wanted business in a way, liked it and enjoyed it, but then did it in a way that makes sense for me and was enjoyable for me. Do you get what I'm saying?
I love what you're saying so much because I identify with this idea so much, and we have very similar experiences. That it's like I love helping people. I love getting people changes in their life and growth in their life, spiritual and relationships and all of those kinds of things. But then it's like, but I got to pay the bills, and then you think to yourself like, okay, so what am I going to do? And it's like I'm going to go into insurance or selling this or that, and you're just like, and then it becomes soul sucking. Not because there's anything wrong with that, but people like us were meant to help people in a very deep and personal way, and we've spent so many years of our life learning the techniques and the tools to help people.
Right. And it was frustrating, really frustrating, helping people and wanting to help people, and then looking at other people and they're accumulating wealth and financial success and freedom. And they look happy and they feel empowered. I'm not saying that everyone who has money is happy, not at all. But I'm like, how come you can't have both? And that was the painful part. Why does it have to hurt so much or be so challenging to want to help people?
I'm gonna dig a little bit just because I like to do these kinds of things. But I think one of the things that came out that a lot of us deal with is like we don't have the vessels, we don't have the tools to learn how to monetize our skill set. We don't necessarily, we don't think that it's possible. And so what a lot of us do, and I think that you were a great example, is then we sometimes like focus on our circumstances that we're around. We feel like maybe the institutions might have let us down, or that we let ourselves down, right? Was that something that you experienced as you were sort of trying to claw your way towards both making an impact, helping people, and making money doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I felt, I was so good at doing certain things, and I feel like I didn't have the tools necessary to do other things. And so I felt that, what I was doing before in terms of like, teaching and working for organizations, I always thought that that's something that lasts forever. I always thought that that is a career type of a mode, and it could be for some people. I guess what I didn't know or realize is that it's not going to be for everybody. So on the other side of that is like, now what am I supposed to do? And that was where the challenge was.
I know that of all the people I spoke to, you had some large reservations of working with me because of your natural inquisitive nature. What were some of the worries or fears that you had about, again, I wasn't and am not cheap. It is a significant investment. you weren't at a place right now. I'm sorry, you weren't at a place back then where you were tripping over the buckets of money falling out of your Bentley, right? What were the fears that you had about me or about working together or about yourself that you had to confront?
I think some of the fears that, you know, just to be real you know, I didn't want it to be just about the money. And my fear was like, let's just, you know, figure out a way to just make lots of money fast. And that wasn't the language that I spoke. For me, it was more about, it has to be meaningful, it has to be personable. So that's one of the things that we kind of overcame. But I think one of the reasons I decided to work with you is because how confident you were in being able to teach me confidence. And I remember that's one of the first conversations that we had, was really about confidence and self-esteem. And so I think I hired you more for that than anything else. I felt confident in your ability to teach me tools for confidence. And then it happened to be that the other stuff worked out. I don't even know how I ended up in your class. It was just like, I saw a post somewhere, I saw a message, so I didn't even know. And I remember what it was. I was on the JK, the Jerusalem Code alumni chat. And sometimes you have like 500 messages a day, and I don't check it. So one day I looked, it was 500 messages, and I just like flipped through the end. But somewhere in the middle, I stopped, and then it was your little video about your course. And that's it. That's how I clicked. I messaged you, and that's how we met.
So I love that story. As someone who is now a prosperous and successful coach, how important is that sense of belief that we have to have for ourselves? And once we sort of have that, I mean, even forget about all of the other structures of building a business, but just that sense, I think there's a realization that I might not have that belief. So how powerful is that belief and how important is that? And once you have that, what becomes possible for what you can accomplish?
Right. So I want to qualify in terms of like, you know, being prosperous. I think the definition of being prosperous for me right now is more about the self-esteem and confidence, more so than how much I'm making. So this is my first year doing it. I've made money, but it's not, you know, where I want to be. It's my first year. So prosperous, I don't know, but I feel prosperous in many other areas. And I think the biggest thing that I've gotten is that I think any other job I would have taken or any other career, I would have always been hiding behind something, whether it's the boss, the organization, the cause, whatever it is. One of the things that coaching forced me to do is put myself out there. And I realized how when I was doing outreach for an organization, I was still hiding under the organization. The organization has a great trip. The organization has a great program. The organization has a great flyer or a great class. But here it's like, it's me. And I have to put myself out there, my pictures, my message. That has been more liberating than anything else. So for me, it's not even like the coaching as a label. Do you get what I'm saying? It's the fact that because I had to do that, it brought that part of me out. It happens to be that I'm coaching. Do you get what I'm saying? So the coaching was not the end. It's a means to be able to do the real work, which is get myself out of my comfort zone, talk to people, show up, present, and get myself out. That's really, I think, the main part of it.
I love that you brought up that. And I love that you brought up this idea that for a lot of people, this doesn't, and again, the whole idea of what we're training people to do is it's not like make $1 million a month, make $100,000 a month, right? It's not, that's not where we are. That's not where a lot of these people are. But what we're talking about is that it is life-changing money to be making 5, 6, 10 grand a month as a person that is trying to, support a family. You live in California, right? And so you even opted, you said, again, both in terms of the financials and because of your passions, you actually do this as a side gig, right? Because you have a job teaching that you love and it gives you a lot of meaning. And so that's also a really amazing thing, is that you're able to build this kind of income as a side project.
Right. Yeah. And I'm very happy with that type of mix. I started, and I'm working full time at a school. I'm a Rebbe at a school, which is great because I get to do what I love. And so basically what I did this past year was all on the side. Like you're saying, it was all on the side. It was thinking, looking back on it, it it was almost not that much in terms of like how much I had to put myself out there. It's summertime right now, so we're off for the summer. I know we've spoken about this, but I'm putting in hours and hours and hours a day. And that's great. I'm also looking forward to going back to school and doing this on the side. So for me, everyone is different, and I don't know what I'm going to decide to do, 5 years from now. But right now, it's a good combination for me.
Amazing. Maybe share my favorite story ever, because again, like you said, it's about the impact and it's about the personal development that happens within the coaching realm. But you also happen to walk around with an $800 pair of shoes. Maybe you could share that story and why, for all of us, a lot of us who are helpers and who want to help and, might have that, saint martyrdom of like, I have to be broke. Talk to us about the Ferragamo shoes, if you could.
All right. So it's a little bit over 800 if you count tax. So what I never really even liked Ferragamo shoes that much, but what it represented for me was it always bothered me. It always hurt me and bothered me when I would see other people doing that, meaning buy expensive things or nice things, and they were younger than me. And I'm like, why do I have to limit myself in terms of the things that I have? Like, I'm not even such a materialistic person. But the fact that I couldn't do it, or it felt wrong or bad or inappropriate to do it, was what bothered me. So when I would see like people half my age walking around with Ferragamo built-in shoes, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So two things that I really wanted to do was I wanted to buy an expensive pair of shoes. I did it with my own money, my own coaching money. I bought
your own money that you brought in from coaching. That's
right.
That's the piece that's so important, is that you created the space and the permission in your own life to be able to not only be able to make money, right? And then to have the confidence that I'm going to take money from that and I'm going to be able to buy not just like a nice pair of shoes, but like legit, like a really nice pair of shoes.
Yeah. And I didn't use a credit card. It was a debit card. So it was a debit card from my coaching account. But again, it's not about the materialism. I don't really care about the shoes that much, but it's that feeling I get of like, I can do this for myself. I'm allowed to treat myself well. And actually, it's really funny when I go to classes and people see me with those shoes, they actually love it. They say to me, like, it's really nice to see that someone is his rabbinical world. He's also in business world. He also has nice shoes. So it's funny, like, no one looks at me like, hey, you shouldn't be wearing that. It's actually the other way around. The other thing that I did was I did a professional photo shoot. Something just I always wanted to do, and I got over that fear factor. I hired a professional photographer, went to Venice, walked around the streets, changed outfits, took pictures. You can see it on my Instagram. It's more gonna post those up. But it was just a fun way to give myself permission to be able to do those things that I thought were bad or I shouldn't do, or it's wrong if a rabbi is doing that stuff.
Amazing. I wanted to ask just two more questions. One is, for someone might be looking at you, they might look at me, they're thinking to themselves like I know I want to help people. I know I want to make money doing it. I don't know. Like, I just feel resistance. Like, is this real? Is this an MLM? Is this, some kind of a scheme? Like, what if someone, or more than that, they're saying like, could I ever do it? Like, I'm not qualified. I'm not good enough yet. Like, I have to become or something different. For someone that's like really kind of on the fence, what should they be thinking or asking, or what advice would you give them?
Okay, so two things is you have to have some level of expertise or experience or knowledge. Meaning, like, I'm not gonna join a basketball team tomorrow because I think that's what I want to do. Like, it has to make sense that this is something that would speak to you. Do you like helping people? Are you good at helping people? Have you had experience helping people? Are you a good listener? Or at the very least, are you open to developing those skills? So it has to like be within the realms of, like, generally speaking, what you enjoy and what you think you would be good at and what you think make a difference. In terms of the other aspect, look, listen, it's the more real and honest you are with the process, the more it's going to help you. There's no shortcut to magic tricks. Sometimes you'll make money, sometimes you won't make money. Sometimes you see people who make more money than you, and they might even look like they're working less than you. You might see some people who are making 50 calls a day and make less. So it's like, it's not a guarantee But what I realize is that it forces you to put yourself out there, and then what's meant for you will come. So, and I say that again, it's not that coaching is the end in of itself. It's that coaching is something that forces you to put yourself out there. When you put yourself out there, then you can see what happens next. You might love it. You might want to do it full time. You may hate it and never want to do it again. You might realize, I want to do something else. But it's that art of putting yourself out there, I think, that will give you clarity more than just holding back and seeing, like, well, let's see what happens. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
To quote a famous coach.
Oh, that's, yeah, I say that sometimes. Nissan, tell us where we can find you, follow you. What do you do? Who do you do it for? Just maybe if you could plug a little bit about your business and your beautiful social profile.
Thank you. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Nissan Ahoobim. You could look it up. Nissan like the car, Nissan Ahoobim, Ahoobim. But basically, I live in Los Angeles. I work with a lot of couples and young professionals. A lot of things like dating, relationships, personal development, and self-esteem. One of the wonderful things that I've found when I talk to people about dating and relationships is that there's a lot of inner work when it comes to self-esteem, personal development, being able to express yourself, being able to communicate, being able to like really, put your voice out there. And so when that comes up, the person can really change their relationships, their life, and their career around when they can really, help express themselves. So in a sense, the training I've had, and also the personal life experiences I've had, kind of like lends to the type of people that I work with. But I work with people all over and all different demographics.
Amazing. Nissan, thank you so much for your time.
You're awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob.